Let's take a closer look now at the political ramifications of yesterday's guilty plea and guilty verdicts. How are lawmakers from both sides of the aisle responding? We begin with a Democrat. Mark Warner of Virginia is the Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman. Senator Warner, welcome back to the program. So President Trump is repeating today that neither one of these developments yesterday had anything to do with the Mueller-Russia investigation. What is your read on these guilty plea and guilty verdict yesterday?
Well, let's take a step back and look at what we've seen in the last 24 hours. The president's campaign manager, guilty of 8 serious felonies, potentially 80 years in jail. The president's longtime lawyer and fixer making a guilty plea as well. This coming on the president's national security advisor pleading guilty. It comes on 30 other indictments from the Mueller investigation, 5 other guilty pleas, the president's attorney general having to recuse himself. This president tries to, in a sense, live in an alternative world where facts don't matter, but the real facts are closing in. In the case of Mr. Cohen's guilty plea, where he seems to have indicted the president in terms of a campaign violation, I'll let other lawyers or make the judgment on that. But what I find very interesting from Mr. Cohen is his willingness, I understand, to testify before Mr. Mueller, and I hear secondhand that he may be willing to testify before our committee about things that would be of interest to Mueller. That by its nature might be in terms of ties to the Russia investigation, whether Mr. Trump knew about the hacking of the emails, was willing to coordinate on the release of those emails. We do know that the intelligence community has assumed that not only did the Russians intervene, but they intervened to help Trump and hurt Clinton. I'm very interested in what Mr. Mueller what Mr. Cohen has to say about those activities, as well as we've got a lot of remaining questions about Mr. Cohen's involvement in a proposed Trump Tower Moscow, where candidly our investigation had gotten to a certain point, but we still have questions.
Well, just quickly, Senator, I want to turn to another part of what Michael Cohen said, and that is having to do with the payments to 2 women who alleged to have had affairs with President Trump to keep them quiet. Is that something, and he said in court yesterday, Mr. Cohen did, that the president, or that the candidate, clearly he's referring to the president, directed him to do that. Is that something Congress should look into?
Well, I think that would be something that probably doesn't fall within the Mueller investigation, or doesn't fall even within our Russia collusion investigation. But any candidate for federal office, from the lowest level to the highest level, knows that you can't direct corporate payments. You can't make corporate payments in federal election campaigns. You've got limits. And if with what Mr. Cohen has said is true, I'll leave it to the election lawyers, but it sure would seem to me that that would be a violation of the law.
Just finally and quickly, some of your Democratic colleagues are saying that the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings should be postponed given all this. They're refusing to meet with him. Where do you stand on that?
Listen, I'm going to still meet with Mr. Kavanaugh. I've got a lot of serious questions about his views on executive power. I think no person is above the law, particularly Mr. Trump, who is so willing to flout laws and flout the truth at a drop of the hat. So I'm going to still go ahead and have that meeting with Mr. Kavanaugh. And unfortunately, in terms of the hearings, it appears to me that the majority is going to set that timetable. And so far, they've indicated no willingness to relax.
Senator Mark Warner, we thank you.
Thank you, Judy.